Aloha everybody and welcome back to Vision Quest Astrology. As you can tell from the video title, I'm sure here, we're going to be talking about Saturn Conjunct the Ascendant, or Saturn in the first house. And most people going through this transit right now either have a really late degree Scorpio rising that still has Sagittarius go through their first house, or you are a Sagittarius ascendant more than likely, with obviously Saturn and Sag right now going through your first house. I made a video back in May or June of last year about this transit, and it was when Saturn was exactly conjunct my ascendant, again for the second time, as it was going back and forth between its retrograde cycle. And I don't know, it's just one of those videos that a lot of people seem to watch and comment, and it seems like y'all got a lot out of it. So just hearing me ramble about my struggle with Saturn, basically, I'm glad y'all are so entertained by that, because it's been quite the process and really life-changing. And it's one of those transits that you definitely are left very affected by. I'm still in the midst of it. If you're watching this video, you might still be in the midst of it also. And so yeah, let's just talk about ways to make this transit a little bit easier and use some proficiency to succeed and get through the hurdles that come across with it. A planet like Saturn can be in one of your houses for anywhere from 2 to 3 years. So, it's not like clearly as super slow moving as like Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto, but it's still long enough to where you really are mastering whatever sign Saturn's in, but whatever house it's going through for you, it's really that area of your life that it's wanting you to pay attention and focus on. It's like, okay, I'm here, time to get structured, time to get this shit done, and time to show up and to be good at it. Now, if any of you out there are anything like me, I have always had the kind of personality, and it's pretty shitty to say, but it's just true. If I'm not good at something instantly when I start, I give up on it. There's some things that we're all just innately good at. You don't really have to try, and sure, you can better your skills as time goes on, but you're just automatically kind of got an interest in it, and it flows for you. But if it's something that I just suck at from the beginning, and it's just like, oh, this is just awful, I won't try. I won't put the effort in. I just put it down and leave it. And this is something that ever since Saturn has gone in my first house, a little over a year ago, it went in my first December 2014, and it's showing up time and time and time again for me. The last year or so, it's just been like, things that I normally would have put down and walked away from and just gotten aggravated and been like, fuck this. I still try that because, old habits die hard. What can I say? It's like I can't seem to walk away from things as easily as I used to. It's like there's this little voice inside of my head that's like, dude, grow the fuck up. You've got something to learn from this. You're an adult now. You've got to, you need to master this, time and patience and effort. And if you put in the effort, you're going to get good at it. Eventually, it's going to be something, it could be a skill. It could be a trade that you're going to know something about, that you're going to be successful with. And that's really important. But, it's something that, like I said, I always struggled with, growing up. And being 22 now, Saturn's like, you ain't in high school anymore, little boy. You're making a name for yourself. You're doing something, and able to do that, you kind of got to work at it.
Who would have thought actually having to work to be good at something? Yeah.
Well, such is the nature of Saturn. Saturn, I've really been seeing more than anything. It takes a lot of patience. Things do not because I noticed, I feel that 12th house and first house transits are so important, because the 12th house is like the end of your chart. Well, obviously it's like the dead end. There's no going anywhere after that. It's the end. This planet has gone through your whole chart, and then the first house is the very beginning. It's new life, it's personality, it's who you are, and your sense of self in this world. And so it's like the whole total start of everything. And when Saturn was going through my 12th, I found that it was like this really time. There was a lot of endings in my life. I was really reviewing and reflecting on kind of just a lot of emotional stuff, and your psyche. You're dealing with just a lot of things in there, and you're working on your mental health a lot. I've noticed in the 12th house, and And so in the first house, things are starting over and the pace is quickening up and there's all these new beginnings and stuff, which is exciting, right? But it's like, because there's all these things on the horizon, you're like, oh, I want this and I want that now, and I want to, you have this goal of where you want to be, but then you realize, okay, it's going to take X, Y, and Z to get there, and even when I do X, Y, and Z, it may not turn out exactly like I wanted it to. And that is where the patience comes in, my friends. With Saturn in the first, especially, patience personally has never been my virtue. You can ask anyone I know. Well, not that you YouTubers and YouTube land are going to be doing that. But yeah, I'm a super fast driver. I get from point A to point B. My mind is just super quick. I'm a fast communicator. I've always been a, get things done, chop, chop, chop kind of way. Patience has always been very hard for me. Everyone around me knows it. I'm the first one over here, like, tap, 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 hello, what are we doing here? I go grocery shopping with people, and I'm not one of those reading every little thing on the back of the box. I know what I need to do, and I go do it. That's just how I've always been. And, so this transit has been very humbling in the sense that it's like, dude, slow down, take in life, and be with the process, because I have a tendency to always be about getting to the final destination of things. And there's this quote that's been coming to mind a lot that I've heard it for years. Several people have told me, and it's one I've always liked a lot, but it says, the journey is the destination. And as cheesy as that sounds, this transit really is about that. The journey is the destination. It's not about getting from here, getting to there. It's about what you learn along the way. To be successful, you've got to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. You got to get focused, and you got to be patient. Things don't always come just like that, and even when you do put in the effort and when you are patient, it's not always going to be what you thought it was going to be. And what I've really gotten out of this is that you get back what you give. And, so if you put in a 5 out of 10 star rating for something you did, that's what you're going to get back, because Saturn is so karmic. It is that you get what you give. And sometimes if you really put in the extra effort, you're going to get rewarded for that along the way. I really do believe in that that karmic destiny thing that comes around with karma and Saturn, is that what goes around comes around, and it's going to come back to you, all of it. Saturn having so much to do with the hard, cold reality of things, and sometimes the good, awesome reality of things too. But it's like right here, right now, this is where you need to be. And it's been bringing me back to that over and over and over again. And finally, it's starting to ring a bell that, like, okay, I think Saturn's got a hand on this one here. Saturn is saying, okay, this is where you are, this is what's being expected of you, so be here, be focused with me, like, be in the moment, be with who you are with, do what you need to do. And I'm starting to listen, I'm starting to pay attention. It's really like that teacher, smacking your hand in class. Do teachers even do that anymore? I don't know. I think that may have happened to me like one time in elementary school, but that's Saturn. Saturn is the teacher. It's like, hey, come on, get it together. People get really excited when Saturn is getting ready to exit their 12th house and hit their ascendant and go into the first house. It's like, because Saturn in the 12th house is really anywhere from 2 to 3 years of, there's a lot of agony that goes on there. And so anyone who's still going through that transit or has, just finished it up, my heart goes out to you. Saturn in the 12th house is really hard. I am convinced it is one of the hardest transits that you'll go through, and it will make or break you. But I will say, how you handle it really does kind of set up what Saturn in the first house will be like for you. If you didn't get what Saturn in the 12th house wanted you to get, and you resisted it the whole time, and you fighted it, and you didn't really take it in at the end there, then yeah, you're probably going to struggle a lot too when it goes in your first house. Because the whole point of Saturn in the 12th to me is clearing space. It's like spring cleaning, but the cleaning and all the shit that you just left in the closet and you never did at all. You just kept throwing more under the bed, throwing more in the closet, throwing some under the house. It's all those places that you thought you could get away with it for so long. And then Saturn comes in the 12th house like, okay, time to clean shop, clean house, get this bugger mess together. That's what Saturn's going to do. So that, by the time Saturn goes in your first, it's a clean slate. You're starting over. It's a new beginning. You can focus on yourself now. Whereas in the 12th house, it was like selflessness. There was no sense of self. It was just like blending in and bleeding with everything you came into contact with and everyone, and not knowing where you began and where they ended. And psychologically, it's a mess. I'm very happy to say I'm done with that transit now. I got a lot out of it, but I just mention it now because, you know, I will say if you're still going through it, utilize it to the best you can so you get in the first house and you be done, you be clear, you can start over. Yeah, you know, so all in all, I just say, you know, anyone who is going through this transit of Saturn in the first, stay strong, stay bold, you know, really get to know yourself. I will say this transit it's the time and the optimal time of your life. Get to know who you are. Your whole self-image and personality is being restructured. Who you used to be has been demolished. You're starting over, you know, while being true to who you've always been, of course, at your core. That's going to carry through with you your whole life. Your soul, you know, that never changes, but you are reinventing yourself in a way right now, actually in a huge way. And so utilize this time and, you know, use it to your advantage. Take on stock and observe, who do you want to be? Ask those important questions and do the things you know you need to do. Vision board that shit out. Get it together and know what you want. Because that's going to help you be the best you that you can be. And I want y'all to be the best you can be. You know, I'm here with it, you know, where I guess I'm almost halfway through this transit now before it goes into my second house, and I want to take the most of it that I can. But with that said, I've been doing so many chart readings with people who just want transit readings about Saturn going through their ascendant in their first house. So if anybody is interested, please check out my website at the link below, visionquesthealing.com, or send me a message here, whatever you want to do, and we can do a reading on Saturn. They're super helpful, you know, when you can know what Saturn is doing for you and look in the transit reading of how it's affecting you in your chart and where it's going to show up and how it's aspecting, you know, you can really use it to your advantage and get the best possible outcome. So that is it for now, everybody. Thank you for watching. I probably will continue to make these Saturn in the first house vlog updates. I think it's just cool for me and we can all interact in this way and share ideas. I'd love to hear in the comments how this transit is for all of you. And I will be back soon with more Astro videos like always. Can't get rid of me that easy. Saturn's keeping me persistent. So thank you, everybody. Aloha and happy transit.